There's a brutal truth most men never understand about attraction. Women don't miss you. They miss how you made them feel. And once you understand this difference, everything changes. I'm about to reveal 5 psychological principles that will make her think about you constantly, replay your conversations in her mind, and crave your presence even when you're nowhere near. But here's the thing. These aren't manipulation tactics. These are understanding of how human psychology actually works. Let me start with a story that changed everything for me. About 3 years ago, I was seeing this girl. Nothing serious. Maybe 2 months. We'd hang out, talk, laugh, the usual. Then life happened, and we stopped seeing each other. 6 months later, completely out of nowhere, she sends me a text at 11 p.m. I still remember that look you gave me when I was nervous about my presentation. The way you smiled and said I'd destroy it. Think about that for a second. Out of everything we experienced together, out of all the dates, conversations, and moments, what stuck? Not my words, not even the time we spent together. It was a 5-second moment. A look. A tone. Something so small it was almost invisible. But it carried weight. It created an echo. This brings me to the first principle: emotional echoes. Most guys think they need to be memorable through grand gestures, expensive dates, long speeches about feelings, constant texting. They're exhausting themselves trying to create big moments when the real power lives in the small, charged ones. Here's what I learned. When you give a woman a moment that's emotionally charged, whether it's through teasing, warmth, challenge, or sexual tension, you create an imprint in her brain. And later, when she's alone, her mind naturally replays that moment like a song on repeat. That's what missing someone actually is. It's your brain replaying emotional echoes. So how do you use this? Stop trying to impress her with how much you do. Instead, focus on how you make her feel in micro moments. Hold eye contact 1 second longer when you're teasing her. Lower your voice slightly when you lean in to say something only she can hear. Touch her wrist lightly when she makes you laugh. Then pull back. The key is this: create the spike, then withdraw. Don't linger. Don't overdo it. Leave the echo floating in the space between you. What you make her feel in 5 seconds will last longer in her memory than what you talk about for 50 minutes. And when you're not there, her brain will replay it until she needs more. But emotional echoes alone aren't enough. To truly stay on her mind, you need to give her something to wonder about. Something her brain keeps chasing when you're gone. This is the second principle. The mystery gap. Here's the mistake. Most men give everything up front. They explain their whole day over text. They share every thought and feeling. They answer every question with complete transparency. And while this feels like connection, it kills tension. If you give a woman everything, there's nothing left for her imagination to work with. And the human brain hates unfinished business. It obsesses over it. It loops on it. I'll give you an example. Back in college, I was talking to this girl after class. We'd chat, vibe, laugh. And then I'd just cut it short. All right, I've got something to take care of. I'll catch you later. And I'd leave right in the middle of her curiosity. One time she asked, "What are you always running off to?" I just smirked and said, "You'll find out eventually," and walked away. I wasn't trying to be mysterious. I just had actual things to do. But later she told me, "You always left me wondering." I'd go home replaying our conversations, trying to figure out what you were up to. That wondering? That's the mystery gap working. Now compare that to what most guys do. They over-explain. Hey, just got home from the gym, about to shower. Then I'll probably meal prep and watch some Netflix. Brother, she didn't ask for your itinerary. And now there's no mystery. She doesn't miss you because she doesn't have to. She already knows everything. The psychology here is simple. The human brain is addicted to closure. When something feels unfinished, the mind keeps looping until it finds resolution. When you leave her with a question, a tease, or a cliffhanger, she keeps thinking about you because her brain wants to finish the loop. So practically, how do you do this? Drop half statements. Say something like, "You'd be fun in certain situations," then don't elaborate. Or start telling a story. Pause and say, "Actually, I'll tell you the rest another time." When she asks what you're doing tomorrow, don't give the full breakdown. Just say something interesting, with a slight smile, then change the subject. These small gaps drive her mind wild. And here's what's beautiful about it. You don't have to become some mysterious character. Just stop spoon-feeding her certainty. Let her imagination do the heavy lifting. But mystery fades if it's not tied to emotion. What makes her feel something every time she remembers you? That's the third principle. Creating anchors. If you want a woman to miss you, understand this. She doesn't crave you specifically. She craves the state she felt when she was with you. And once that state is anchored to you, every time she feels an echo of it later, her brain runs straight back to your image. Let me show you how powerful this is. A few years back, I dated a girl who loved spontaneity. So instead of the predictable, "Let's grab dinner," one night I told her, "Be ready in 10 minutes. I'm taking you somewhere." We ended up getting ice cream at midnight and sitting on the hood of my car under the streetlights, just talking and laughing. She laughed so hard that night she cried. 3 months after we stopped seeing each other, I got a text. "I just drove past that ice cream place and thought of you." That's anchoring. The ice cream wasn't special. The location wasn't special. I wasn't even in her life anymore. What stuck was the state, the laughter, the spontaneity, the feeling, and she unconsciously attached all of that to me. It's a concept from psychology called creating an emotional anchor. You link a strong emotional experience to a specific stimulus. Your voice, a gesture, a place, a phrase. Once anchored, that stimulus re-triggers the feeling. And when you're the anchor, she craves you every time she craves that feeling. Here's how you use this. Pick peak moments. When she's laughing hardest, when she's leaning in closest, when her eyes light up, and add a unique cue. Maybe it's a phrase only you say. Maybe it's a playful gesture. Maybe it's a look you hold 1 second too long before you break it. Then, and this is crucial, don't stick around until the moment fades. Leave while the emotion is still burning. That way, the peak gets locked to you, not to the gradual calm down. I'll give you one more quick example. I used to tease a girl with the same line every time she gave me attitude. Careful, you're getting addicted. It was playful, light. But months after we stopped talking, she messaged me out of nowhere. "I hate that I still hear your stupid addicted line in my head." That's the anchor echoing. Pick a phrase, a gesture, or a playful routine and attach it to her peak emotional states. Don't overthink it. Keep it natural. But watch how, when you're gone, those states pull her back to you like gravity. Now, anchors only work if she still values the source. If you become too available, too predictable, the anchor loses its power. This brings me to the fourth principle. And it's the one most guys completely misunderstand. Most guys hear scarcity and think it means playing games, waiting 3 hours to text back, pretending to be busy, acting cold. That's not scarcity. That's insecurity wearing a mask, and women see through it instantly. Real scarcity isn't about time. It's about certainty. When she feels 100% sure she owns your attention, she relaxes. And when she relaxes, the chase dies. But when there's a tiny question mark, does he want me as much as I want him? That's when she misses you most. I used to talk to this girl every single day. Long messages, constant updates. After a while, she got comfortable. One day she even said, "You're sweet, but I don't really think about you when you're not around." That hit me hard. Why? Because I was too available, too certain. So I changed one thing. I didn't disappear. I didn't play games. I just stopped making her the center of my world. When I was with friends, I stayed present with them. When I was working, I focused completely. When she texted, I answered, but calmly, in my own rhythm, not like a man jumping at a notification. Within a week, her tone shifted. She started double texting. She asked what I was up to, where I'd been. That subtle uncertainty flipped everything. The psychology is simple. The human brain values what feels scarce. Not minutes or hours, but unpredictability. If you're always available, she doesn't have to think about you. If you're sometimes present, sometimes distant, without explanation, her mind starts looping. Where is he? What's he doing? Who's he with? That loop is what creates the feeling of missing you. Here's how you use it. Stop announcing yourself. Don't explain why you didn't reply for an hour. Don't narrate your entire day. Let gaps exist naturally. Be fully present when you're with her, but when you're not, live your life without giving her a play-by-play. That's not rudeness. That's dignity. Don't confuse this with neglect. The goal isn't to starve her of your presence. It's to make your presence feel like sunlight. Warm, radiant, but not guaranteed. That's what makes her crave it. And once you master scarcity, when your presence feels both rare and magnetic, there's only one move left. The move that binds everything together. The fifth principle, the unfinished thread. I saved this one for last because it's one of the most powerful techniques you can use, yet it's so subtle most men never think about it. The unfinished thread is simple. It's about open loops. You give a little, don't finish, and let her mind keep spinning. You're not being rude, you're being precise. She chases the ending while you say less. The brain hates unfinished stories, so it keeps coming back to them. That longing she feels isn't about you. It's about the unresolved you. Example, you're in the middle of a conversation. You say, "Remind me to tell you why I stopped going to that coffee shop on 5th Street. She asks why. You smile, hold eye contact for a second, then say, "Later," and change the subject. You open the door, then walked away. Now she's imagining what's inside. There are 4 types of unfinished threads you can use. First, the story thread. Start a story right before the climax. I was in the back of a cop car once for about 10 minutes. Anyway, then stop. Let her pull you to continue. Second, the challenge thread. You'd be dangerous if you learned how to read people better. Not ready for that conversation yet, though. Leave it there. She'll want to prove you wrong. Then beg for the lesson. Third, the future thread. We'd probably get kicked out of at least one place if we hung out more. You implied a future together, then took it away. Now she's imagining it without your help. Fourth, the sensory thread. Whisper something specific and walk away. You smell like winter and trouble. No explanation. Now her mind searches for meaning, and your voice becomes the soundtrack. Here's what's critical. Don't memorize these lines. Internalize the concept. Use them naturally. Combine two at most. Never finish everything at once. She gets a sip, not the whole bottle. You can use this when you're with her in person or while texting. In text, it's one of the best ways to make her want to see you. If you explain everything over text, she won't miss you. You haven't given her a reason to. But if you use an unfinished thread and she asks you to continue, set the condition. When we meet, in real life, timing is everything. Create an emotional peak, then leave. In the middle of laughter, say, "You're trouble. I'm leaving before this gets too good." Stand up. Touch her shoulder once. Leave. Her body stores that emotional peak and labels it with your name. Later, in silence, the peak returns without you. That return is longing. Here's the framework. Open late, leave early. Never open a thread during flat energy. Drop one line, then pivot. If you justify or explain, you kill the magic. Never promise endings. Imply, then withdraw. Let her invite the next scene. Remember this line. Attraction lives in the tension of the unfinished. Because in the end, that's what attraction really is. A story she can't stop replaying. A thread she can't stop trying to finish. And you become the unfinished thought she'll never get out of her head. Use these 5 principles: emotional echoes, mystery gaps, anchors, strategic scarcity, and unfinished threads, and watch how everything shifts. She'll text first. She'll ask about you. She'll replay your moments. Not because you chased her, but because you understood how her mind works. And the most powerful part, you never had to pretend to be someone you're not. You just learned to make every moment count.